I just want to say that Kyrie is hella trash. That's I need to finish. I need that to be front page.
Yikes.
Honestly, because
Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of the Podkat. I'm with my boys as usual, Tosin, Andrew.
was good. Was
What's
good.
good, guys?
Yeah, how's everyone's week been?
Week has been weaking.
That's such a Gen Z phrase.
That's
Nah,
that's the
but
truth, though.
for real, man. Like week has been weaking. Like I don't know, summer just feels a little bit different, man. Like you don't feel like working, but obviously like that's the only way to survive. Like so you just have it's kind of like you just have to work, but then you see everyone in Europe on vacation, partying and things like that, and it just makes you a bit more like um makes it a bit more challenging to like just get up and do what you have to do. But that's just part of adulthood, so you got to do it.
Yeah, I
You
feel
got to
like
do
that
it.
makes you miss them days when we used to have summers off, right? And
Yeah, for
every
sure.
summer you look forward to planning how you want to spend your summer.
Yeah.
As opposed to now, there's nothing like planning how to spend your
Right.
summer. It's when you have vacation days to use that.
Right.
Yeah,
Or
And
you
now you
can
save
even
your
like
vacation days for you now. These days we save our vacation days for like like you actually have something you need to use it for, as opposed to just it's summer. Let me use my vacation days in
uh,
summer and just
everything is scheduled now. Like
how
every hour of my days are scheduled.
yeah, how did people work for every day of their lives? Like
Man, I don't believe that it ever
Like
happened,
how
man.
like I don't get like I honestly I never understood even since when I was like in uni I never believed that I would actually like finish uni and then work every single day of my life till like I retire. Like that's isn't that like insane?
it's insane, bro. It sounds like slavery.
No,
Oh,
it is slavery. Like
Even
literally,
slavery self it's
at
not
least you get
doesn't
like
sound bad. Slavery doesn't sound bad because at least you know that you're a slave, so you might as well do it. This one
and,
you are free in quotes and you're still slaving.
and back then like I think you had like 2 weeks off the entire year. Like it almost
Man,
sounds like
yeah, it's
unreal.
crazy, man. And the other thing is, even maybe someone will tell you something like, "Oh, maybe if you're working for yourself and all that, right?" But I feel like it's the same thing, just different setup. Because if you're working for yourself,
you're still working
you're
though.
still working. Do you get what I'm saying? Like you're still working, and I feel it's even worse. Like the reward might be greater, but people that own their own businesses, it's not 9 to 5. You're not waking up at 9 and then 5 clocking out. You can't clock out of your business. Like whenever
Yep.
your business needs you is when you have to show up, right?
Yeah,
So
but you manage
Facts.
that, Kayode. You manage that time depending on how much money you want to make and depending on how like involved you're in your business. At some point, you can definitely put someone in charge of some of those like admin like tasks and stuff like that. Like over time, like 5 to 10 years of your business, you can teach someone else. Like kind of like in the olden days, like you would have like an apprentice, right? And then you teach them some of those things so you don't have to do it all the time. But
yeah,
Yeah,
but,
but you're still
but I'm
working
saying,
though.
yeah, but I'm saying like as much as you can do that, you do that to reduce maybe like more of your day to day, for instance, right?
Yeah.
It's just like you're not clocking in and clocking out, but it's almost like same way you're employed to someone, you're not. You get like once it's 5 o'clock, like I'm done. Any wahala your company is going through between 5 and when I'm clocking in 9 tomorrow, I like really and truly, right, I probably don't care, right? But so I feel like as the owner of the business, those are the times where you have to fill in where like no matter the apprentice you have there and all that, like for sure that will drastically reduce like your day to day running around. But when it comes to worrying about your business, I was like, okay, one more time for this business to grow again, right? You're still the one that has to kind of like get into that position and figure all that out, right? So
Yeah, but you can also decide like, okay, I'm going to work so much for the next couple of months, and then I'm going to take this X amount of breaks, like for like 3 months. Like, I would always rather be like the
but
owner
in
of
that
my.
3 months,
You can't completely
can you
No,
just
completely
but
not.
you
detach?
can work towards that. Like, you can like let's say like as opposed to like working even when you're working for someone, right? Let's say you want to plan a vacation with your family or something like that. You can say, okay, I'm going to work overtime for the next X amount of days or X amount of months so that I can take this amount of time off. You can do that for your business as well. Like you can like be like,
Mm-hmm,
for the next couple of months, I'm going to bring on X amount of clients. I'm going to work extra hard. You might have to work 12 hours a day,
mm-hmm,
whatever.
mm-hmm.
But you can do that and then plan towards like, I'm going to take this amount. You can absolutely do that. But then when you're working for someone, like you
Yeah, but
can't you
no, but
can't
I'm saying,
do
but
that.
Tosin, maybe you don't get what I'm saying. But I'm saying when you do that, for instance, when you completely say you do all the legwork, when you go on say a 2 month vacation, are you going to go on a 2 month vacation and not even
Open your
check
phone to
back? Like,
respond
you
to
get what
an
I'm saying?
email.
We're
No,
just
you
like,
no,
no, no,
you
no,
can.
forget email. I'm not talking about email. I'm just talking about like making sure things are running, like making sure nothing is going wrong, like that type of thing. Like, for me, and maybe I'm wrong, but like I feel like with your own business, there's nothing like almost like not like shutting out everything and not looking. Do you get where it's just like I feel like you can't do that.
Not like completely shut off, but like you can just take that time off for yourself. Like meanwhile at work, like I think you can only take 1 month off when you've worked for the company for like 2 years or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and even at that, like someone can still just choose to message you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I feel like the entrepreneurial like angle is always for me like the better route rather than working. I'm just comparing both of them
Oh
rather
yeah,
than
they all have
working.
their
Yeah,
pros and
no,
cons
yeah,
at the
they
end of
are.
the day.
So
Yeah.
I think there's a mix up here. We're still comparing it to back when we're in school. Back when we're in school, after exams, you close your book and you're not thinking about opening your book till the next semester or till the next time you need to open your book. Like you're completely shut out of it. And I feel like that's what Kayode is saying. Like we miss that time where we can just completely like just go fully on a holiday without even being bothered about education or our responsibilities, but just vibing for the summer. You as a business owner or as an employee, you can't really do that. You can do that if you want to do that, but you have to pay for it somewhere, one
And,
way or the other.
and maybe the other people that can do that, I feel like when your business is on a large scale, like you get what I'm saying, like when you're looking at the likes
So like
of
Bezos.
yeah, like guys like that
Yeah.
can obviously do that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Not even that
Yeah.
scale. Not
Yeah,
even
no, I
that
mean, it
scale.
definitely not that skill,
Yeah.
but like the picture I'm just trying to paint is like definitely not the average business owner. Like it's more so you've made it right. It's like you
Mhm.
have the best people in, maybe like the best marketers and shit like that working for you that you can completely say, I'm going on a, maybe obviously not 1 year, but like I'm going on a 3 months, whatever, and like I'm not checking shit. You
Kaide,
get,
let me give you an example, right? Even someone like a cobbler can decide to do that. Like you don't need like that's what I meant. That's why I went back to like the olden days. Like you just need an apprentice that like you can train and you take up like a huge book of clients, like or a huge clientele for like a good amount of months, and then you go for like a month or two. You travel with your family, but your apprentice is there because you've taught them what to do. Like you might come in once or twice a week, and okay, maybe some extra work needs to be done. But like even like a cobbler, a tailor, like even down to like the basics of things, like you can always train someone to do what you're doing, and that's what I'm talking about in terms of like being an entrepreneur. But like as an employee of someone, like your apprentice can't tell you that he's taking 3 months off to where,
yeah,
like
yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah, I feel like that. I feel that there are always exceptions, right? Because I think from your point of view, that's a great example because that's just like I feel like that's a skill job, right? That's like once that person can do that, you're good. You get there's nothing more to that. But I guess maybe when you're dealing with something more even like client based, and I'm saying client based, like maybe like
technical.
software,
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Client like some clients they want to hear that as per the guy that brought me to this company, I can't get to him for the next 6 weeks. You get what I'm saying? It's like I'm taking my business
Somewhere
elsewhere to
else,
someone
yeah.
that takes me serious. So fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I mean, just like obviously, this is not none of us. This wasn't planned. This wasn't planned. But like, I just thought about it today. I was just thinking about it as we were talking. Like, I don't believe that like people work from like age 20 to
Yeah,
like
man.
70.
Oh, people
Like,
do. People do. For example, even in sports, there's the Real Madrid bus driver. It's the same bus driver that drove the Real Madrid players like in 2012 2002 or 2000, whenever Zidane scored that goal.
That
It's the
guy,
same
that
guy
guy,
that,
that guy doesn't
it's
want
the
to
same driver
retire.
that
That
drives
guy,
football
yeah,
now.
that guy,
that
he enjoys
press.
it. Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
That's
yes,
what I'm
yes.
saying.
yeah.
So it depends. So some people can do things like that. Like it depends on the kind of job.
But you know what I always say, and I think sports have made me realize this, right? Like there are certain people in certain positions that are working regular jobs, quote unquote, but the kind of perks they get, and when I say perks, like it could even be like cash gifts, like a player liking you, like those things you're not going to get that working a normal job. Do you get?
For
And to a
sure.
certain extent, it's fun for them when it's like, oh, yeah, I'm driving the Real Madrid team, right?
Yeah, to the
Every,
finals, bro.
yeah, and every now and then, this guy's, this guy Vinny likes me so much, he heard it's my birthday, he gave me 100k
Give me sign
euros
jersey to
to
my
Kind
get
of,
what I'm saying, things like that.
let's not go that extreme. Let's not even go that extreme. Like I won't lie to you. Like I'm currently like in the job market again, and I'm looking at like sport jobs, like things that I'm already passionate about,
Yeah, yeah,
and then I could just find like a role that like matches what I'm good at already, like my experience in the market that's valuable, right? But essentially, those guys have first class seats to every game that Real Madrid plays. That's what people don't realize. Like you guys are thinking
yeah,
about
man.
it, like, oh, somebody give you 100k. Nah, you
flight
drive
charter, bro.
like you fly charter, like you like like you watch every game for free, you eat for
Live
free every single you eat for free
Yeah.
every you guys know how much money you would save
Save,
if
yeah,
you
on
man.
food,
ate for
bro,
if
and
you didn't
accommodation,
an accommodation, you didn't
Yeah,
spend money on
man.
food,
Yeah, man.
transport,
flights.
and
Yeah,
like
it's crazy.
and your family has those perks to not just you,
Yeah,
medical, every
yeah,
single thing. Like and then now you look at things that the players offer you, like any of those players could be like the personal like drivers for any of those staffs could be like
yeah,
personal drivers for any of the players. Like they just enjoy their job. Like they
yeah,
love the
yeah,
fact that they
yeah,
get to do those things every single day. That is something that is doable. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you've
yeah,
chosen
for
that,
sure. Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
some of
That's
these
the
Well,
goal. That's the goal. That's the hack.
some
That's
of
one
these
of the
other
hacks.
jobs, like for example, like you couldn't there's no amount of money I feel you could pay me to work at the bank for like 30 years, bro. Like
But chill. I think just to to
counter
highlight what you're
that.
saying. No,
Okay.
not to counter, but to highlight what you're saying. There's no amount of money you can pay like me to work in a bank for 40 years, 50 years, or to be a driver for 40 years, 50 years. But you can pay me whatever amount if I'm working like as a driver for like a player, personal driver for a player. I can be a driver forever. I don't care. If it is to be personal like banker or financier for like LeBron, I can do it till he dies, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
okay.
good.
Okay.
But
Okay.
like to do it for like another company, it seems stressful. But when you're doing it for something that you're passionate about, you will not really feel it.
yeah,
You
and,
get
and not all of them, obviously, but a
yeah,
good number of those guys treat the people that work for them or with them,
So well.
bro.
bro,
Like even barbers, bro. Like they're,
bro.
bro, you know when barbers
Somebody
are
that flew to
blown, they're
finals,
just
go
they're
and
just
cut
cutting,
everybody in
bro.
France.
These guys are living their best lives, cutting hair, bro. Like cutting hair. That's it, bro. Just cutting hair. They are paying them thousands of pounds to just cut hair. Like the same hair
Flying
we're
them
paying,
out,
the same
bro.
hair we're paying,
Yeah, they flew
40
somebody
$50.
out to cut Kante's hair. To cut Kante's hair. There's no hair
Yo,
on his head.
yo, I happen to know the guy. I happen to know the guy that cuts like the weekend's hair, right? Guy cuts. He used to work in Saga. He used to cut like one of my closest friends, like his hair as well, his brothers, everything like that, bro. This guy has access to like anything you can think of that a member of the weekend's team should have access to.
Yeah, man.
Like tickets to like a concert, like gets he's on the private jet. Like this is part of like the budget for the weekend. Like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
guy this
yeah.
guy easily makes over 100k. This guy easily makes
God never do
over
it for me now. God never do it for me.
yo,
I
this
don't
guy
care about software.
this guy easily makes over 100k just from the weekend. I'm not even talking about like the other
Other
members of like
people.
the EXO team and things
Yeah.
like just off the weekend, bro. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like career path is such an interesting thing,
Yeah,
but
man. Yeah,
Very,
man.
especially in
Well,
sports. Wait,
Nah.
just one more. This just pertaining sports to Nuri Sahin that got hired as Dortmund's manager now. Who was their ball boy initially? It was a ball boy in Dortmund. It became a what do you call those people that does basically he got into the youth team,
Yeah.
he played youth football, did everything. Now he's manager. Like it's like he has enjoyed the full perks of being like a Dortmund fan. He's a Dortmund fan and like he
Yeah,
just enjoyed the
yeah.
full thing. if he retires and he'll be on pension for life, like he had a full career. Like you
Yeah.
can't tell me he didn't have a full career. He had a full
Yeah.
career. He
Yeah.
played, even if he didn't play football for long,
Yeah.
because he got injured. He played ball. He was ball boy. He did all
That's
these
a dream.
errands.
That's a dream life.
That's
Not
a
even,
dream
not even,
life.
not even career, man. That's a
But you
dream
can't.
life.
But if they told you, guy, go and work for Scotiabank and start mopping your floor from now, and then you become CEO, fuck that, man. Fuck that, bro. I start to get mop floor. You can't
Bruh,
stress me out.
and the funny thing about that too is like even from roles like that, right? So you see how that he ended up being like a managerial this thing. It just works out differently for other people, right? Like I know someone that is part of Chelsea's social media team, for instance. He was into photography and everything, and that was where the opportunity came. Where I don't know how deep it was, like youth level and all that, but like he was around the team, and then his own personal skill of photography just came into play, and the opportunity came, right? So it's just like being around those guys. Honestly, no matter what you're doing, it's not everyone that has a skill set. For instance, like say this guy you're saying that is been the driver for Real Madrid. If that guy had something else to offer, where it's just like he had something else, best believe that they would have utilized that as well. But
Yeah,
the fact that he doesn't mean he
probably
can't just
like
focus on the
director of
driving. Yeah,
drivers
bro,
or
exactly,
something.
bro. So bro, man, but that's a dream, man. Like,
Sure,
bro.
bro.
Anyways, moving on. So focusing on today's topic, I think to start, we've been doing this for a couple episodes in a row, so let's keep it going. Let's keep the streak going. So today we have another quiz.
Let me get my sound ready.
So don't worry. Next time I would finally be on the competent side. I've been the one asking the question, so maybe sometime soon I'll be the one answering the questions.
Yeah,
So
bro. Come get this smoke, man. Come get this smoke.
So,
The fear we
so in the honestly, I'm enjoying this. I definitely enjoy this better. You've been the one to ask the questions. I really don't want to, smoke anyone. But so I mean, Euros is going on right now. So this is let's just call it an Euro themed quiz. I'm going to ask 10 questions. If for some reason after 10 questions it's 5-5, then I would ask one more question. Tiebreaker.
Sounds good.
Okay. So you guys ready?
Yep.
So how should we go about this? Should we go one after the other like we did the last time?
Yeah,
So
Andrew can go first. Yeah.
okay. All right, Andrew. So
okay.
first question here for you, Andrew. Which country won the 2012 Euros?
Spain.
Okay, correct.
Damn,
Correct,
bro.
correct.
Louder for those at the back. I can't hear you.
1-0 to Andrew.
That was so easy, mate.
Sorry.
Second question. Also, I would introduce the idea of giving you guys one. What would I call it?
Bonus question each.
No, not bonus
Still.
question. So was it? Why is it not called to mind right now?
One.
A clue. Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I could also
Alright.
give you guys a clue. Like if the question
Got
seems to
you.
be whatever, I'll give you a clue.
Bet.
So next question here for you, Tosin. Who scored the winning goal in the Euro 2016 final?
2016 for Portugal.
Yeah, that would have been the clue. So yeah, for Portugal.
Is that still available? Because I'm ready to
No, no,
steal.
no. If he misses the question, then
The
It's
guy's
Google
name.
Limits now. See his eye. Why you? It's okay. It's okay.
you have
Time up.
5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So to you and so I'm going to go back to the countdown so we don't take too long. So
I don't know
Andrew,
the
you have
guy's
5 seconds.
name.
I don't know
5,
his last name, but his name is
4,
Eder. Eder.
correct.
Yeah.
So 2-0 to
All
Andrew.
black guy. Yeah. You know how.
I know who it was, but I don't know his name.
So Andrew,
Okay.
your question now is who did Portugal defeat in that final?
What the fuck is this, man? How is that? Wait. Nah, that's
Yeah, make
wild,
it
man.
harder now, big. Like the fuck.
Nah,
France.
that should have been my question. What the hell?
France.
Man, this is some bullshit, man.
Okay, Tosin, back to you. Who won the 2020 Euros?
2020. That would be Italy.
Correct. So 3-1 to 3-1 Andrew. Okay, Andrew, next question.
Okay.
Who scored Italy's equalizer in the Euro 2020 final against England?
Honestly, I don't know. But I'll guess. Giaccherini, or what's his name?
No, wrong.
Chiellini? No.
Tosin, to you.
Bruh. Alessandro or something like that. Alessandro.
No, wrong. So the answer is Leonardo Bonucci.
I was about to say a defender. I knew it was Bonucci.
Yeah, so Bonucci scored the equalizer.
I said Chiellini instead of Bonucci. Damn.
Anyways, back to you, Tosin. Your own question now is...
Wait, Andrew, why didn't you play the sound for your fucking self?
We've not missed it now.
Put your own first now.
Okay, run it.
Look at this guy.
Okay, Tosin. Which stadium was the 2020 Euros final held?
Stadium.
Yeah,
Bro. Wembley?
The guy
correct.
they said.
Wembley. Correct.
Lucky guy.
So Andrew, back to you.
Sorry,
Which team did Spain defeat in the Euro 2012?
Oh my god, this is
Euro
a joke.
2012 final?
Euro 2012 final. Who did they play in final of 2012? Is it Italy?
Correct.
Yeah. That's how it
Foden.
rolls.
Bro, but he was asking though. How can you say correct? Fucking hell.
What am I supposed to say? That's how you answer questions now.
Okay.
Okay, so Tosin, next question.
You asked, is it Italy? And Kayode said correct. I don't know. This sounds like...
No, he said Italy.
No, he said, is it Italy? Right,
Do you
Andrew?
say,
But wait, so what can I now say if I say is it
You
Italy?
should have
or
answered.
no?
I mean,
You should have
but
answered.
to be fair, if you mentioned the wrong country, it says, if you say is it France, I'm just going to tell him wrong.
You tell me no one does
okay.
no.
Yeah, no worries. I just want to be sure.
So next question here, Tosin. Which player was awarded the best young player at Euro 2016? And the hint here is Portuguese player. Portuguese player was a midfielder.
Best young player in what?
Yes.
Wait. I don't understand. Wait. You have to.
Okay. So which player was awarded the best young player at Euro 2016?
Euro 2016.
Yes. And the hint I gave you was it was Portuguese.
And it was a midfielder.
Yeah.
It's not coming to mind.
I know this Andrew guy knows it for sure. So I guess Andrew, go ahead.
Let me just start playing my sound first. Yeah, Renato Sanchez.
Correct.
Oh yeah.
It's obvious now.
Okay, so I guess that takes Andrew to 5-2 and the winner of this.
I'm the winner.
Anyways, for the listeners, I'll still go through the last three questions we have, and I guess any of you, Andrew Tosin, can answer. Andrew, since you've been feeling tough, let me ask you the hardest question.
Yeah, bro, that was too easy, man. And the questions I was getting versus Andrew was getting was too easy.
How was Sanchez's question more easy?
Andrew, who was the manager of the Portuguese national team during their 2016 victory?
The guy that just left.
Yeah, Baba, answer the question. Say the guy that just left.
I'm trying to remember his name. I don't know why this other guy's name is coming to my head. This is Del Bosque guy, but it's not him.
Fernando, that's his first name.
I can't remember his last name.
Fernando
Honestly.
Santos.
I was going to say it. What? Oh my god!
Why didn't you say
What's
it?
going on here? Audience, can you see that Kayode is cheating for Andrew, please?
There's no.
But the game has finished now.
Why? Why is it over? Why is it over?
Yeah, you already gave me congratulations. I collected my award. I don't reach out.
Anyways, the last two questions I had, which player scored anyone can answer, which player scored the winning penalty for Italy in Euro 2020 final?
Bonucci.
No, bro. Guy, that's, you don't remember the iconic hop?
I actually remember the guy that scored it though. I keep forgetting this Italian.
He plays for
I think you guys remember the hop, right? It's like that was when everybody started going crazy.
Jorginho.
Yeah, Jorginho. That was the final that he did his whole. Whatever.
I didn't even know it was one that scored the winning
5-3.
And then
all I can remember is Saka, man.
And then the last question here, which country did Iceland famously defeat in the round of 16 in Euro 2016?
England.
Correct. No, doesn't matter anymore. But anyways, thanks guys. Thanks for listening. Participating in our
still undefeated, by the way.
I was cheated.
Still undefeated.
we never dropped the clip, but Newman killed Andrew in one of our like murdered, not even like
you would explain no evidence.
Damn, I actually remember that, man. That was quite
like it was man. Bloody. It was like a crime. It was like a crime. It was like a crime scene.
Bro, it's just a memory. Like there's no evidence. What if it never happened? Like,
I mean, we have
careful what you wish for, because we'll just drop the video.
Yeah, man, we have
witnesses. Okay. Let's move on.
So, anyways, while on Euros, I guess the biggest thing or the main thing we wanted to talk about was NBA. But before we go to that, have you guys seen the Euros so far? I guess at the point of this recording, for everyone listening, game week 1 just finished, so all the teams have played their first games. So
in the group stages,
in the group stages.
I think the only surprising scoreline would be Belgium. Every other team. I don't know why I didn't even put some money on every team, every top team winning, because again they were playing. Most of the first games were like the easier games for like whoever was in their groups. As expected, like we expected all of them to win those games, but Belgium, I still can't get around what happens with like Lukaku. I still don't understand it. I don't want to put all the blame on him, but he just always seems like the player that misses so many chances in those big games. Like it just always looks like that. I don't know why. But what were your thoughts?
With regards to Belgium and just Lukaku in general, it's not even about big games, because that wasn't a big game.
Yeah, but like just big chances. Big chances.
He's just he just when the lights are the brightest, he's the dullest. Like he just gets very, very. He's like he doesn't know how. He doesn't have composure. He doesn't know what to do when like people depend on him the most. But when you're not looking at him, when it doesn't matter anymore, Lukaku amazing.
And I feel like that's why his best days were still like back in like the West Brom days, the Everton days, like playing for teams that there wasn't any real expectation for, So it was easy for him to just bang in his goals, right? But the moment he went to like the Man U's, the Chelsea's, like, don't get me wrong, he still scores his goals because Lukaku is a good striker. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like when he goes down to it, like his numbers speak for him, but he's not a dependable. He's not a dependable striker.
Yeah,
I'm not going to let you get that off. Numbers speak, but numbers don't lie. Like in Lukaku's situation, you can score 8 goals, 5 goals against dead teams, right? That's fine. Lukaku's like his national team goals, most of the goals are qualifiers. Bro, who's watching qualifiers?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he has the second most goals of, I think, current players in Europe or something like that.
I agree. And I'm telling you why. Like,
no, I don't disagree. I'm saying like he's a striker, he bangs in goals. You have to give him credit for that. Is he a dependable striker? Yeah. No. Do I want him on my team? No. But you can now say, because he's not scoring when you need him the most, then
No, it's
he's
not
a
about when
trash
you need the
striker.
most. Just when you need him. Like in any competition that he's needed to play, he's not scoring. Like in World Cup, in the Euros, in any
In Champions League
competition,
final.
No, no.
in Champions League.
In World
But
Cup,
when it is like a
he
qualifier,
banged in goals, but like come knockouts, he disappeared. Like, do you get what I'm
that's all
saying?
I'm saying. Like,
But
so
again, it's the smaller teams and the games where
that
you're
will
just
give
like
you
you don't,
that will
yeah,
give you
yeah,
numbers.
for sure.
Exactly.
But yeah, again, like again, when you look at the numbers, he will still go down in his generation. He will still go down as a top 15 striker easily. Like, you get what I'm saying? Well, if you're calling top 15 strikers in Lukaku's generation, he'll be in that conversation.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like people look. That's why I don't really like numbers. I've never been a numbers guy when it comes to football because
No, but you have to
numbers
consider,
just.
the numbers, man, especially for a
I
striker.
agree. I agree. You consider numbers, but there's just a way you have to consider those numbers. For example, Lukaku has scored more goals than Pele in national team football.
Yeah, but no
It's,
one is going to put Lukaku over Pele.
but but then if you look at numbers, you can see where numbers can be a bit conflicting
No, no,
because like
but Andrew, that's whoever is looking at numbers and numbers only.
that's what I'm saying. That you have to look at numbers and then look at the context behind those numbers. Look at
Yeah,
when those goals were scored. So if you're looking at okay, Lukaku's numbers as a striker, you see all these cool numbers. But then when you now look at competition, his numbers in competitions, you see it's a completely different thing entirely. And
yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
I don't disagree with that though. Like, I don't think anyone here disagrees with that.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, in all honesty, too, if you look at Lukaku's numbers by competition, they're probably good numbers as well, right? But
It's
again,
bang on average.
if you look closely, is when you realize, okay, Lukaku has maybe 20 goals in his Champions League career. Then you realize that 15 of those goals were against. I'm just making up numbers now, like 15 of those goals were against maybe teams that have played Champions League only once in their history. Or like, do you get what I'm saying? Like things like that, right? And at the end of the day, if we sit down here and discuss, not even us, like anyone that watches football, to a certain extent, like, oh, who are the best strikers of this generation? Nobody's calling Lukaku. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, you call the Lewas I mean, Ibra is not really in this generation, but you call like the Lewas, the Suarez, like, all those guys, you call them. No one is putting Lukaku in that conversation, even though
Yeah.
numbers wise, you can say, oh, he has similar numbers, but no one is putting that discussion. But now,
Yeah.
when you want to now start saying top 10, 15, when you now start putting Lukaku in that conversation, is when you realize that, okay, we've called all the good guys. Okay, well, just because of how many goals Lukaku has scored, like, okay, let's just throw him there at night. Do you get what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. And I agree with that, but unfortunately, as you said, numbers at the end of the day, all these things that we know, all of us, all this our eye test, all these things, is going to go with us. The kids
yeah, we'll just be
they
seeing
will come in
numbers.
and they will see numbers and they will just think that he was a prolific striker, and that's just what's annoying. But let's move on from Lukaku.
And bro, like, as a Chelsea fan, you can understand me. I've watched Lukaku closely, man. I borderline hate that guy. So,
Yeah,
anyways, moving on.
I mean, I love him because it's what it is.
So yeah, I think for me, I found Euros really, really interesting so far. Germany have looked very exciting. Even though it's just one game that they
Best
should
team so
have
far.
won, like they just look pumped. England won their game, but still, they don't look how you would want them to look. As a team that you'd expect to win the Euros.
Wait, I think we
So
should talk a few like about that England game like a little bit more. The PFA best player, the best player
Foden.
in Premier League, Foden was missing for 90 minutes, and the England manager did not make any like he just did not find a way to fix that issue. Right? I just find that conflicting. Like, why can't you? We all know Foden is good from the right, right? That's not a problem. Like, just you are replacing Saka, bring in put Foden on the right, bring in someone that's going to play on the left. It got so bad that Jude Bellingham was playing left at some point because he was giving like the free card, so he could roam everywhere around the field, and it was covering up for Foden because Foden was just missing in the game. I don't have any issues with Foden. I want him to be successful, but I just think like the current English manager cannot manage the talent that he has. He has never been able to prove that he can manage all this talent, and he's just proving it more and more that I don't really know what I'm doing. These guys are playing, and I'm just hoping that they bring it home for us. But I don't think he knows
Yeah,
what he's doing.
yeah. I think
I no,
go on,
Kaide, go
Tosin.
ahead because I'm going to disagree with what Andrew said. So
Okay, so I agree, right? So my thing is, I've always said one thing. I've always loosely put out there is, for as long as Southgate is England's manager, I don't think they can do anything. And my reason for that is, I feel he has shown time and time again that he can manage a team that is that talented. I feel if England didn't really have options where anyone could look at that team and just decide who the starting 11 should be, Southgate would be a much better manager for them. But he has to make so many decisions, and I feel like he's just not, you know, cut to do that job for England. And then for Foden, I feel I don't call him a system player or anything, but however Southgate plays ball just doesn't really work for him. It's not an excuse because I feel he should, regardless. He looks so shit with England. Do you get what I'm saying? And because you're not being played in a system you're used to being played in doesn't mean you should go from, say like an A plus player or an A minus player to like a C minus. You get, like, I feel like the disparity between Foden we see in City and Foden we see in England is too wide for it to just be a Southgate problem. Right. Which is very disappointing, but like I feel most of it has to be on Foden as opposed to like how Southgate is playing him, if that makes sense.
yeah, so one thing I do want to speak about is the fact that Phil Foden, like we've all said, is a system type of player, right? But within different systems, you have to be able to adjust, right? For example, Harry Kane had like 2 touches in the first half of the game, and in the second half, he was able to get like 20 something touches, like by bringing himself into the game. Like those are things that you take ownership of doing. Phil Foden is playing as a midfielder, like whether we want to accept it or not. Like there was already someone on the left, like Trippier was playing more, I think, on the left or whatever the case may be, and Foden had a lot of freedom as a midfielder to go and get the ball. Like there were chances where Jude Bellingham would drop all the way to like a 6 or like even as a 4, like just trying to create something. Foden wasn't restricted because in games like that, you're allowed to take ownership. You're allowed to go get the ball and make something happen. That's how football works. You're working within a system, but special players do special things, right?
Yeah,
You know, we
yeah,
speak a lot about how Foden has such amazing technical ability. He has such an amazing touch. He can shoot the ball. He can do this and that. Like you have to take ownership to go make those decisions and to put your team in a better situation, especially when you're 1-0 up in the first half. Like you can make and take some of those risks even more. So I don't know. It just sounds like an excuse to me where a player like that, you know, after having such an amazing season, can't make something happen. Like I feel like if Cole Palmer was in that same situation, there's a lot more that he could have done. I'm not comparing both of them, but I feel like Cole Palmer would find himself in certain situations where he can impact the game a bit more. So with Phil Foden, I feel like we're giving him too many passes, and he has the opportunity to do or play
yeah.
a lot better than he is currently.
Yeah, and I feel like that has been going on for a while. By the way, like,
Yeah,
this is not a today thing, right? Like
Yeah.
Foden in England is just underwhelming. Like he seems like a completely different player, and bro, yeah, like at some points, I guess we have to also he has to take a handful of the responsibility. You can't just be blaming Southgate for that. And I guess there's this agenda people have been running, which you know I've paid a little bit of attention to, which is City players like shine on the pep, but when they go back to their national teams, a majority of them don't just look as good, And I don't know what the agenda is pushing exactly, but for the most part, that's facts, right? Like KDB is the one person you can look at and be like, oh yeah, KDB is KDB, right? But when you look at every other player, like I mean, Haaland still scores his goals because it's Haaland, but everyone else is like, not that they look like bad players or anything, but they just don't stand out for their countries.
yeah, and
The
even
way,
KDB hasn't had a lot of success with Belgium. So, like when we look at it down to what it is, they work very well as a system. Like Man
yeah,
City are a team because Man City are an exceptional team because of every player plays a role. Like every player in their role is
Yeah,
extremely good, and they put that together as a team. They're good. They're a great
yeah,
team, right? But
and
individually, I think it just takes them out of what they're used to.
yeah, and I guess another person I just remember to give him his props to is Rodri. Like Rodri still plays very well for Spain, right? But again, I guess it's also props to Pep because again,
Absolutely, yeah,
he makes them look so good, right? But it's like once they're not, which I feel like is a characteristics of like a very very good manager because you're putting a system in place to bring out the best in each of your players, right? For the good of the team, and when you look at someone like Southgate that has so much talent, but like you're not playing a system that brings out the best in your players, from that perspective, that's on Southgate. You get like I feel like that English team is too talented to be such an ordinary
I
team.
didn't well, I don't know, man.
But see,
When
And
people talk about
Andrew,
talented, I just because I get what you're saying, like they're superstars, but the superstars just because Premier League is the number one league. That's just
no,
why.
I disagree because
But that's
okay,
the truth,
but
though.
Andrew, look at obviously not maybe
Trippier
not
is
not
not.
not
Hold on, Trippier is not a
chill
superstar
now.
in any other
I
league.
was about to say that I'm not saying the first 11, right? And for the most part, you don't need your first 11 to be superstars. But once every good team has 3 to 5 like ballers that they depend on as to why they're such a good team. You don't need your first 11 to be a bunch of superstars. You
I
need a
mean,
bunch
no,
of
that's
utility
wait,
players.
cool. That's the same with every other country, though.
I disagree. Like
Ah,
how many okay,
you think Spain
chill
is not
now.
having that issue?
Chill
You think
now.
France is not having that issue? You think
Okay.
Germany is not having that
Who's
issue?
which striker in Spain is on Kane's level?
I
Do you
don't
get
know.
that? But that's my
That's not
point. Like Kane is a top 3 striker in the world. Like, do you get what I'm
okay,
saying? Bellingham is a top 3 midfielder in the world as of today. Do you get what I'm
bro.
saying? Like
See,
Saka is a
Kayode,
top 3 right winger in the world. Foden is PFA player. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Rice is a top five player in
okay.
this position. Like, do you get what I'm saying? You just don't get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying, and I'm telling you the reason why these players are all this is because they play in the Premier League. There's players that can do exactly what they can do and even more, but they don't play in Premier League, so we don't look at them that way. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're not the top three, top that, top this. I'm just saying quality wise, ball for ball, let's put ball on the floor. Who can play better? There's players that can do way better, even in Portuguese league, in Brazilian league, but we don't think about them that much because we're not seeing them on our TVs. They're not as you know pumped up by the media. I'm not saying that they're not good. I'm just saying the reason why we're thinking they're all that is because of how we see them every day.
Well, I
That is why
disagree because
every
that's
hold
that's not
on.
why I see them that way.
No, but that is why every year, every Euros or every World Cup, a team or a country, like for example, Italy, they have a player that everybody's like, wow, this player is good. Because bro, this player has been doing the same thing all season long, but we're not watching Serie A.
But that's not. But I feel that's not true. For one, chill now. For one, Bellingham has never even played in Premier League to begin with.
But he's playing in fucking
Chill
Madrid.
now.
We're
no,
seeing
but
him every
but
day.
he's.
Now.
I think
When he was doing it in Dortmund, that was not my
No,
he's an
problem.
English
I'm
player,
not.
though.
It's an English
Kane,
player, and that's not even the thing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're overhyped, right? I'm not saying they're overhyped. I'm saying the reason why we are saying they have a problem with selection in England is because we see these players as images, like they are like they're the next big thing, like in football right now. Am I lying? Like they
no,
are
no,
like to you,
you're not lying, but I feel like you're giving too much credit to that because,
but that's the reason why you are thinking it is a
no,
tough
but look,
decision.
okay, look at someone like Kane, for instance. You can't tell me there are 5 better strikers in the world than Kane. It has
But
nothing
that's
to
not
do
what I'm
with.
saying, though. That's
It
not
has
my
nothing to do
point.
with what we're watching.
But no, that's not my point, though. Kane is not my. That's not what you're saying has nothing to do with what I'm saying. See, what I'm saying now is about Southgate's selection. He doesn't have a problem with selection. I'm telling you, other teams have issues with having superstars or a list of players that they could pick from, and they find a way to do it well. So it's not because of they are all talented in my country, so it's hard for me. No, like bro, countries have talent. That's what
Yeah,
they are
yeah,
made
yeah,
for.
for sure,
Countries
for
have
sure.
leagues, and those leagues have great players. They have best player of the year. They have everything too, just the way we have it in England and everywhere. So,
Yeah.
like, it is your job to pick and choose what you feel like is your best 11 and stick with it. There's talent. If you want talent, there's talent. So
Yeah,
it's not a talent issue.
key point there, Andrew. Stick with it. You can't change the lineup every single
Every
time
single
and
competition.
expect the same result. Like you have to stick with some of your best players, right? Like we see players for Argentina, for Portugal, some of these teams, they've been there for like 6, 7, 8 years, like consistently. It doesn't matter how they play in their league, doesn't matter how what league they play in, doesn't matter what's going on. Like those players
Facts.
are there for a reason because they've proven that and they know that they work well within that system, right? They know that okay, we have to bring Rodrigo De Paul to play for us every
Kante.
single time. We have to bring players like Kante, we have to bring certain players that work within our team for a system. I like Andrew said, like we're looking at countries that have millions of footballers. Like talent is not going to be the issue, right? It's about looking for the players that work well within your system. And Kaidi, I think you alluded to this earlier, like I think in the last episode about how like Southgate can't just stick to a team. He can't just figure out what he wants to play as. Like there are too many people in his ear. Like there are too many like
It's
English, too many
too
English
political.
coaches, too political. Like he keeps on hearing about it. Like Foden should not be in the English team. I don't care if you want PFA or like he doesn't work in your system. Why are you
It's
like
that's true though.
why are
That's
you
true.
bringing
Put
Foden
him on
into
the
your
bench.
put him?
You get
Why
what I'm
like
saying?
why is Kobe
Super sub,
Meno? Why
like
is Kobe Meno in your team? Like
because of the hype
Kobe Meno
this
is
season, that doesn't work.
18. Like
Yeah, yeah.
That's not how it's meant to be, man.
Sancho, Grealish. Some of these guys may work better in your system, but then you
Yeah,
happen to bring
Rashford. I can't believe Rashford. I honestly can't believe Rashford was not selected because that's still their best left winger,
and then you
and he
play
and he works
And then you
and he
you
plays
play
well in
Trippier
on
England.
you
the
play Trippier on the
on
right,
Trippier.
like Trippier
And then he's
like
playing a Alexander Arnold in the midfield. Like we all know he can play midfield, but he does it auxiliary. It's not a midfielder.
Yeah,
It's
like
like when
not starting there.
Klopp didn't
like
even do it. Klopp had the opportunity to play Arnold in midfield
bro,
for 4 years while he was
that guy is
distributing
stressing
all
me
of
out,
these
man.
passes and doing all these things. But Klopp said this guy is a better because honestly, the idea of Trent playing in the right back position is he's not like for some reason those players have a lot more freeway because they're not focused on offensively, so they have a lot more opportunity to take advantage of, there's already a winger there, I can just overlap and make those runs and make those passes. You're playing him in a midfield position where like he's going to be a main point of focus. Like no one is going to just allow a midfielder pick up the ball and cross it,
On pass.
like just
Like
cross it into the midfield to Harry Kane. Like
Yeah,
there
yeah,
are players set up to do things like that. So playing Trent in midfield, I don't know if it's going to work because it just doesn't fit into like the system of
yeah.
how teams play or how teams will defend against you.
And Southgate doesn't even seem tactically sound enough to put Trent in the midfield and set him up for success because you can't just put him in the midfield on some inshallah let's see what happens. You get like you have to set him up for success, right? Like based off of how you play him, how you position him, like when he's receiving the ball, things like that, right? But he's not a traditional midfielder, so you can't just put a right back in midfield and just expect that he will cook.
yeah.
Even on the defensive end, like they're professionals, but to the points Andrew has been making here is like, there are people that know how to play their positions.
Just put them there.
Yeah, and they would expose you. Like you don't need to know where the guy is from. You don't need to know his name. He would expose you and show you why you're not a midfielder, right? And
Yeah.
we all know like Trent is very dangerous on the ball, and that's his strength. And that's probably the only reason he's thinking of playing him in midfield. But you have to think about every other thing a midfielder is meant to be doing and ensure that Trent can also give you that. Because if he can't, then he's going to cost you more than he would help you in that position, right? So yeah, man.
I feel like they were just lucky, man. They deserve to lose that game. They were just lucky that they were able to win. Yeah, they created less chances. If you look at the stats, so Serbia they played, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Serbia had more chances to score. It wasn't just clear cut enough.
Yeah, yeah. And
For
that's
them.
the thing with England, man. Eventually, when they meet a better team, that's why they always exit, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
they just.
I can't wait for the Iceland of this tournament for them. But it is what it is.
Well, yeah, man. Anyways, I guess we'll look forward to I guess more games to come for Euros,
Yeah.
and then we'll definitely be back here to speak about the group stage and the knockout once the group stages are like all done. So moving on to NBA finals. So last night
Corniest
the
finals.
Boston Celtics beat the Dallas Mavericks 4-1.
Andrew, give them a round of applause. Give them a round of applause.
Yeah, you know,
Man.
It sucks, but
yeah, but I like again, I would say props to
Yeah.
the Celtics. You know,
I'll give them last one. That is what it is. It is
I
what it is,
feel,
man.
I feel like they're the best team in the league, right? At the end of the day, and I felt like that was the angle I was always going to use to attack them
We
if they
did
didn't win,
it.
right?
Funny ass.
Which is the fact that they have no reason not to win because they are the best team in the league, right? And as you just mentioned that, Andrew, like I feel like Tatum was trying so hard to make so many corny statements, you know,
Bro.
like he said, "Oh, what they're going to say now? Like, brother, like you're the best team in the league. For the last couple of years, we've been coming on you guys because you're meant to win, but you're not winning. So, like that statement, what are they going to say now? You're not even in a position to be saying that to begin with.
So let me now tell you the history of that statement. That's the same statement that the Celtics of '08 said. That's why he's saying it.
I
One.
know.
Two, the reason why he was screaming at that interview with Doris Book was because LeBron was screaming when he eventually won it. Oh, Cleveland, this is for you.
Right,
That's why he was
he was
screaming.
trying so hard, bro.
You guys,
Yesterday night. No, hold on.
Nah.
Yesterday night. Chill. Yesterday night, he said he quoted Kanye's
Yeah, he said,
he was like, "What are you gonna say if I don't win?
if I do, I guess we'll never know." I'm like, bro.
You trying to watch to lose against fucking
nah,
Egypt,
you guys are the worst, man.
No. Tosin, those I won't lie. Like I felt like so. Here's the thing. Here's what I think. Right, I feel they were expected to win. Right, but within their own rights. Right, they feel the world was against them or whatever it is and whatnot. Right, so they're trying to make it feel like a much harder championship than it actually is.
Yeah.
You're the best team in the league. Do you get what I'm saying? It's not meant to be easy and all that. We get all that. It's a championship. A championship is a championship. But
Yeah.
you can't now start making statements like you guys went through so much adversity, you know, you had to kill yourselves to get here. Baba, like I think they went the most they played was 5 games in any series.
Yes, they're meant to sweep this people. They let them win that 40
Yeah,
games.
so
That's one agenda. They let them win.
and they've been favorites all the way. Like, do you get what I'm saying? They've been favorites from the start of the season. Maybe not start of the season because maybe not get right at some point.
Start of the playoff.
But start of playoffs and everything, like at least in the East, they were favorites by a mile. Do you get? So it's like to come out and start acting like, oh my god, like no one thought we were going to be here. Like, you know, it's so crazy. There was a point where he almost felt like he was trying to even cry. Well, maybe the tears are not coming. I said, guys, chill.
You guys,
He was forcing the emotions, bro.
you guys are trifling for this, man. Nah, like you
No,
guys,
man.
no, you guys are making it sound like a Jude Bellingham situation with Madrid, where it's
But
like
it is the same
no, but
thing.
Andrew, like winning an NBA
You know
champion.
what?
No. You have to understand that like winning an NBA championship takes everything out of you. Like it's not the equivalent of us saying like, oh, Golden State when they had Kevin Durant. Nah, like on paper, everything was still like set up for Celtics to lose. Like obviously they were favorites and everything. Yes, now going into the season, there was like the trade for Damian Lillard and Bucks. Like all these things just happened by chance where like they were put in a position where they were able to win the championship.
Right.
But
Just-
a lot of things could have gone wrong where they wouldn't have won. Like, so let's not act
No,
like the road to a championship.
Let me say something to say. So I agree with what you're saying in the sense that a championship is a championship.
It's never
right?
easy. It's
And-
never easy.
And at the end of the day, Celtics have been on this journey for the last, I don't want to say 7 years as to when Tatum joined, but let's say the last 3 to 4 years, they've been on this journey. So this is not a journey that started this year for them. They've gotten so close so many times, even to your point, times where we expected them to get to finals that they didn't, like they lost to Heat and so on. And everyone was like, you know, you guys should not be losing those games, right? So to your point, we've expected them to do this before and they didn't. So we can now use the fact that they've gotten it to now say, oh, you were expected to win, so don't do that. But I think my issue is just the fact that like you can be natural about it. Like it feels like they've thought about how
Absolutely.
you guys was like, bro, just celebrate, bro. But
Jokic won
Absolutely.
last year. They were having a party. They're having a ball, just jumping inside water, everything. Like you don't need to be doing all these
No,
fake
no, but
emotions. It
no,
was fake.
Andrew, it's not fake.
It was
It's not.
obviously fake.
It cannot be fake because
I think
you don't.
premeditated
Yes,
instead of fake.
premeditated is a better way to think about it. But you have to realize that there were times where, like, the league or the media was asking for Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown to be separated, being
Yeah,
that they couldn't win it together. Like that was a huge discussion. Even
yeah,
this season, even at some point, like while the Celtics were winning, people were still coming at Jason Tatum for like playing like trash, but the team was winning. Like they were always saying something about those two guys. That's so
yeah,
they were
yeah,
literally talking to the media, not us fans. Like not like me and you were like we watched those games and we knew they were still going to win. Like we knew you were playing a Cleveland without Donovan Mitchell. We knew like even with Donovan Mitchell, they still didn't stand a chance. We knew you were playing a team like Indiana Pacers, where like Tyrese Halliburton, like
was injured.
I don't care if he averages 30 points. Tyrese Halliburton is not beating Jason Tatum. We know
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
Brown,
yeah.
we
yeah,
saw
like
those runs where like even with Cleveland, like in the East, we're sweeping it. We know you're going to beat those teams, right? But you guys have been put through so much scrutiny like throughout all this time, making it seem like you haven't put yourselves in those positions every single year. Like them making it to the finals as much as they did alone, we didn't give them the credit for, and that's the problem with the NBA. The NBA makes it seem like if you don't win it all, you didn't win shit. Like that's just the issue with the NBA. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
doesn't matter how many times you made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, how many times you made it to the it's like the NBA Finals. If you don't win that championship at the end of the season, you're a failure. Like that's what the NBA is built around,
that's every
right?
sport. I think.
No, but in other sports you can win. Like for
you
example,
have
like
other
you have
things, you have
other
other
things to win.
trophies.
Like
Yeah, but
Oh
NBA
yeah,
is
yeah,
just
yeah.
it's just one
The
title.
NBA is not like the grand all and all. Like in the NBA, no one cares about the in-season titles. Like Lakers saying, "Oh, we didn't win the championship, but we won the like you can literally get slapped
Oh
for
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Do
like
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
playing
Like,
tournaments.
play,
yeah,
you can
yeah.
want. So for the Celtics, it's like we finally won this thing that they like. Jalen
Yeah, they've been
Brown,
scrutinizing
bro.
us for.
Jalen Brown got 300 million, and people were asking like, "Does this guy deserve this? Like, does he?" And the guy just won an MVP, Finals MVP, and Eastern Conference MVP, bro. Like, I would be losing my mind if I was him. Like, do you know what I'm saying? I get some of the things you guys are saying about they're waiting for this, but everyone does that. Like Draymond Green when he won that last championship was like, "You guys better let us win." Like, and then
Yeah, but you see, there was a build up to Draymond Green zone, right?
There's a
Because
story. That's what I'm saying. There's a
there
from the
is a
start
real
of this,
build
story.
up.
from this, from no, no, but I'm saying like in terms of like with the media, right? So you're saying with the media, Draymond Green didn't start that. Draymond Green was saying that on his podcast 3 months before championship even came into play. We're just like, Omo, you guys, we see everything you're saying on the media. Don't let us get another one. Do you get what I'm saying? Like he started that 2 months before we even won the championship. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like now that back and forth he's having with the media is there for everyone to see. Do you get what I'm saying? And I hear everything you're saying, but I feel they just
It just
there's
didn't feel
just
organic. Just
yeah,
saying.
there's just so much
It just felt
premeditated stuff there where it's just like
robotic.
it just doesn't feel natural. And it's mostly Tatum, by the way. Like Jalen Brown
Yeah.
has not really said
It's
Nah,
anything.
only
nah, no.
Tatum.
You guys. I realized something. You guys are the
No,
real haters on Twitter. Like when I wake up,
No.
when I
But
tweet
Tosin, but
some
Tosin,
stuff, when I
listen,
what
tweet
has
like
some stuff.
Jalen Brown said? Let's be very honest
No,
now.
I understand what you're saying, but like all of the criticism has been more on Jason Tatum than Jalen Brown.
but do
Like
you know why? But do you think everybody will just be criticizing him for no reason? It's just because of how he was behaving. That's all.
no,
Like you're not wrong for
Andrew,
doing that.
Andrew, right? So with every great player like in the NBA that we've seen today, right? They play a couple seasons where like they're close to the championship or like they've gotten all the points, all the accolades, all the NBA, they've gotten the money, and then the NBA starts to tear them down. That's what you guys need to realize. Like they tear them down so much that they don't even allow them focus on basketball. Like Andrew, how would you feel as a player? I'm not asking you like personally. I'm just saying, how would you feel generally if, as a player, your team is winning, your team is dominating, but for some reason you're still getting criticized by the media, but for not being like
For not winning a ring.
no, not for
Yeah.
not winning, no, for like not being the best player, not being the best you can be, or
So
like
I think with Tatum, what it was right, was the fact that Celtics have always been a good team, at least over the last 3 to 5 years, right? And it just felt like what they needed to win a championship was for their best player to go to take them over the hump, right? And I feel that's all the basis of Jason Tatum's criticism, right? Which is your team is so good, you're the one that should take them over the hump, and you've just not been able to, And there's been times, to your point, there are times where we've seen Tatum go crazy, like he dropped 50 points in a game, 7 attempts like that, right? But almost similar to what we're saying about Lukaku, but nowhere close, but similar. Is like, okay, now we've seen everything you've done. Okay, now this last time we need you to do this for us so that we can win. It's like, okay, you don't have, it's not like he's even having a bad game, but it's just like, we just need better from you. You get, and to your point, I feel every superstar has gone through that. You get, like the LeBrons have gone through it, the Currys have gone through it, like they all go through it at some point where it was like, okay, bro, we need better from you. You need to show us more. And I feel like that's Tatum going through it right now, which is, I feel bad for him as well that, Jalen Brown did win the finals
You
MVP
feel
and
bad for
everything.
him?
No, I feel bad for him because I feel at some point next season, he's not going to hear the last of it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, everyone's going to come back at the fact that, oh, Celtics finally won a championship, and you weren't even the best player on the team, right? Which is the
But
basis of everything you're saying.
see, I hate basketball for that, for just that thing that it does is one of the reasons why I don't like watching basketball. Basketball is very hate driven,
Extremely.
and it's very
Extremely.
dumb. It's a very dumb concept because the whole in football, no one. I can ask you who won the Golden Ball for Euros in 2000 and the last Euros. Football fans don't care about individual awards of competitions. We get it, but it's not like a crazy thing. But in basketball, it's like after your team wins, they now start batching inside the players themselves. Every player cannot win the award.
Yeah, of the winning team.
Like,
If Tatum had won this award now, that means they'll be attacking Brown next year. So if Brown wins it next year, they'll attack Drew Holiday and they'll just keep going like that. Like, bro, just everyone can't win MVP. Like, it's called MVP. It's not MVPs. It's one person. Like,
that's my point. That's my point with all the criticism like Jason Tatum gets. It's like Jason Tatum was the MVP.
No, but it was corny yesterday night.
Sure. We can use the word
Exactly.
corny, but
Yeah.
like that's who he wants to be. Like that has nothing to do with like his actual performance. But
You know when he texted Kobe, all these things are corny.
but here's the thing, right? So here's the thing, like all the years of success building up to this would be like the equivalent of like Liverpool like playing in like Champions League final after final after final, and then we finally win it, right?
Win one,
Like
yeah.
that's what it was for the Celtics.
It's supposed to be like a relief.
It's
not like, oh, we're like the underdogs. He was acting like, oh, like they won it like they were underdogs.
No.
But it should be more like, oh, finally, like a relief.
No, but
like, finally did this.
Andrew, but the issue is that's what I'm trying to explain to you. Like to us, right? That's what it should feel like. But he's responding to the media. He's not responding to the normal NBA fan that likes Jason Tatum. Like if you're someone that just enjoys basketball, you know that Jason Tatum has been the MVP for the Celtics for the past 6 years, and he's the one that put them in a position to be here. Jason Tatum, Isaiah Thomas, Marcus Smart, like those type of players, they put them in a position to be here now. Jaylen Brown took a huge jump in his career, which is why the Celtics won the NBA Finals. That's what we're seeing, right? That doesn't take away from the fact that Jason Tatum has always played at a very consistent level, like at the top of like his game. Like NBA players will tell you that without Jason Tatum, there's no Celtics. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's so many players. There are not so many players in NBA that you can look at a team and be like, this guy is the one that should start and end our franchise. Like, Jason Tatum is the franchise for Celtics. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So,
no. I completely agree.
I feel like if they win next year and it's celebrated this way, everything will be valid. Like, it will just be like, oh, okay, I get where he's coming from.
Yeah, but well, I get the whole thing, right? Because like two things, right, that you said, Tosin. For one, it's like, okay, Curry has 4 championships, right? He has only 1 finals MVP. If Curry was not there for the other three championships,
There's
you have a
Probably
there's
solid,
not.
you
no
have a solid
yeah.
argument. There's no championship.
No,
You get
not
what
a
I'm
solid
saying?
argument, my bro. There's no championship.
You cannot even make it through to the
Right.
finals for
So
most
so it's
most
just
of
like
them.
there's that, right? And the other side of it is for the Golden State when they won their last championship, for the way they celebrated, for a team that has three championships, you would wonder why they were celebrating so hard for a fourth championship. But to your point, is like, okay, all that is to the media, right? But it's just like you guys have said we were done, this one, that one, that one, that one. So it's like all that celebration is for them where it's like, okay, now that we won another championship, like
Like what now?
what now
Like even
essentially?
Curry,
Like,
Okay,
even Curry,
so wait,
Curry said it as
I
well.
have a
Curry
question.
yeah.
said it as well when he won the MVP, and
Yeah, he was the one that
he
started
was
the
like,
whole
"What they gonna say now?"
what they're
Like
going to say now, right?
So I
literally,
have a question. I have a question. Are we just like puppets in this whole thing, and the NBA is literally making the media do this so that we can, so that there's an agenda? Because if not for the media doing gassing this whole thing, there's no agenda
but
for all these
The
players.
NBA is a show, like it's entertainment, like
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially the media side of things, right? They create an agenda and they feed that into the public. So
Yep.
yeah,
without you watching the NBA as like with your own eyes, you would see a completely different thing from what's happening. Like for let
yeah.
me give you a pure example, right? Jason Tatum came out in a post game interview and said, "I need to shoot the ball better." Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, he admitted that himself that okay, I've been doing some of these things that you guys are saying I'm doing, but shooting the ball wise, I haven't been at my best. That is a player admitting to his faults. The NBA completely disregards that, and they go about, oh, Jason Tatum, he's helping out with the team, he's doing other things for the team, but like he's been terrible these playoffs, blah 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 blah. But that's a player coming out to say that, hey, I'm not. He didn't even speak about what he's been doing for the team, right? He just spoke about the fact that he needs to shoot better, which we can see in those games. But he's not forcing shots like he would before. He understands that he has a teammate like Jalen Brown that can also do some of those things, which is a valid point. Like he allowed Jalen Brown to take some of those moments that he could have selfishly, like,
So, Tosin, as much as I agree with that, watching the whole series, when Tatum made that statement, I disagreed. And the reason I disagreed is watching the series up until that point, Tatum suggests that, you know, he's, I don't want to say taking a step back, but like, it's like not forcing it. And watching those games, I saw a different thing,
you saw.
right? But
You
so it just felt like someone saying what they should be doing versus doing not necessarily the complete opposite, but it's like that's not necessarily what
And
you're doing
let me
because
break it down for you, Kayode. What Tatum was referring to was Tatum of a year or 2 years ago would take like 10 or 15 more shots than you saw. Like, so
I,
we're seeing numbers where Tatum was shooting like 8 of 23 or like 11 of 24, something like that, right? These are not great numbers, but Tatum of a year ago or a few years ago wouldn't give Jalen Brown the chance to like make an impact in the game. That's what he was referring. That's what growth looks like. That's what he was referring to in some of those moments.
I agree with that, but I just felt like him making that statement was funny. And the reason I'm also saying that is I think he made that statement after game two, right? And as of game two, Tatum took the most shots in the game. As of game two, he had taken the most shots in the series.
Even
So it's like
yesterday, he took the most shots.
so it's like you now coming out to act like, oh yeah, like I'm not bothered, like I'm not forcing shots, I'm not doing any of that. But it's like the numbers suggest you are. Now, where the growth might come, which I agree with you, is maybe last season instead of 8 of 23, he might have done maybe 10 of 30 something because he wants to ensure that I get a particular number of points or whatever the case is. So, but as closely correlated as those things are, it's like you saying you're not forcing it is like a little contradictory, but at the same time, I kind of see what you're saying and I agree with that because Brown, Drew Holiday, like all
Had the
those guys
ball a
were let,
lot.
yeah, they were letting on the game very, very well. Do you get what I'm saying? Up until the point, like, even though Tatum was doing what he was doing, good or bad, those guys were in the game as well, right? It wasn't just like the Tatum show and like everyone was just watching, right? But it just felt like him making that statement. I was just like, like bro, you could have just kept making that statement because it just has, it has a different look on you than you actually intend for it to like have.
And another way I looked at these things is for a player of just Tatum's caliber, right? It may look like he's forcing those shots, but those are shots that he's used to making,
Yeah,
right? So those
yeah.
are shots where, like, if you're in a good flow, like if your rhythms is great from the start of the game, like
You should take
those
it.
are shots you should take, and we're fine with
Yeah,
you taking that, right? But he
yeah,
wasn't making those shots, and you can see in moments in the game where, like, let's say they say he has like 6 or 10 assists. Those are moments that he has picked in like watching film that, okay, you know what, instead of me like going and driving down,
forcing this.
forcing
Yeah,
this for like 5 straight possessions, let's say I miss it twice or something, I kick the ball to someone else, or
yeah,
like
yeah,
I drive and I kick like you can force those shots. Like I hardly saw any play in the game where Jason was like looking for a foul. Like he may
yeah,
complain after, but like you watch plays where like Luca is literally like I watched 2 plays in the Mavs series where I feel like Luka is going to go back, watch film, and this is when you say you develop as a player, right, with
yeah,
experience.
yeah,
Like I saw 2 plays in the Mavs series, I think in game 4 or game 3, where like Luka took like 2 threes, like back to back threes, and he was just like falling on the floor for no reason. Like there was no foul on
yeah,
him. He just went there, jacked up 2 threes, missed it, and then come back on defense. Like
yeah.
those are plays
Look,
that those are plays that Jesitom would have made earlier in his career that
yeah,
he now
yeah,
knows that it doesn't make sense for you to shoot 2 threes when you know you're not in like a good rhythm or a good flow, and then not run back on defense. Like
yeah. Luca has a lot of growing to do,
a
sure, but
lot, man.
this will be valuable experience for him because when it comes to finals, what it comes down to is who's ready to win at all costs. So all that crying to the refs, bitching about all those things in the long run of the finals, long run being like over the course of 7 games, you will lose that battle. So
Absolutely.
if you're putting your energy towards that, especially as the best player on the team, yeah, your team is not
Ex-
your team is not
especially
going
especially when
team is not going
especially
anywhere.
when you're shooting like 20 something% from three.
Yeah, man. Like
There's
your
just
team.
so many things that I watched yesterday, and I was just laughing because they played that game like they didn't really want to win a ring. Because if they won that game yesterday, like they still have 2 more games to win, and this
Yeah.
people were playing like they were playing like this is our last game,
Oh,
like we're tired. And
Celtics,
I was
yeah,
like,
Celtics were playing like they
no, not
wanted it
so.
more. Celtics were playing like they wanted it more. Yeah,
Since they're
Since day
playing like
one.
the way they play every time. They were not really stressing. Luca and Cole, they were just like they were not trying. Okay, for example, now let me give you a good example of how a championship team is meant to be. Like if a team that is clawing back, like when LeBron did his 3-1, like you need someone to like disrupt what the other team is doing, disrupt their rhythm, their flow. These niggas, all they did to disrupt flow was to try to chalk up their own threes. Like, bro, it's not working. Pass. Like, just pass the ball or let somebody else shoot.
Yeah.
Find somebody that is hot and stick to him. Like, find a rhythm.
I
But
feel I feel their
we're not
defense
looking for
their
that.
defense failed them, and this is where people say things like defense wins you championships, right? Like you don't need the best defense ever or best defense in the league and things like that, but your defense needs to show up. Like as good as Golden State teams were, like on the offense, like we've always been solid defensively in every championship we've won. You just need to defend.
and
Like it can't be easy.
Kaide, and not even just like the defensive part, right? I think if we all go back and look at some of those like small plays where like I feel like I don't want to keep pointing out Luca, but I feel like Luca takes off a lot of plays where it's just like I remember like certain times where like he's the tallest guy that can rebound the ball, but he's expecting someone else to do it because he does so much on the offense. Like he just takes away certain like
Yeah,
plays in the
yeah.
game where he's just like even like the Peyton Pritchard 3, right? Like Luca was guarding him and kind of like tried to make an attempt, but like
It's like you're not ready
you're
to
not
win because you're not ready to do all it
takes
takes
to
for you to win. Do you
exactly,
get what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
because if they need you to rebound, you like bro. I remember there was one I think the last championship Curry won with KD. His numbers were like I think somewhere I can't remember the his points, but his rebounds and assists were like 9-9.
Yeah.
Like Curry averaged 9 rebounds and 9 assists over the course of the series. Do you get what I'm saying? Like those are not numbers near Curry's averages, right? But what does that mean? It means like at some point during the series, he needed to be rebounding. And he was rebounding. He needed to be passing the ball and assisting more. And he was doing that. Do you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? There's no time for, okay, I'm typically the shooter or the scorer of this team. So I'm going to hold on to that role no matter what.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? If your team needs you to start defending, like, and if you look at the series, even the series Golden State have won, I'm just using Curry because Curry has weaknesses in his game that teams can take advantage
Exploit.
of.
Yeah.
Defense, right? Like, Curry has not been a bad defender in the finals. Do you get, like, he does what he needs to do. He's a small player. There's nothing he can do about that. But for as far as staying in front of your player, stealing the ball when you can do that, things like that, he tries his best. You get what I'm saying? He tries his best. He
Throughout the
leaves
series,
everything on the
throughout the
floor.
series, every single minute,
He
like
tries. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes what you need to do is just try. You get what I'm saying? You never know what happens. Just try. Like, you get, and sometimes they're not missing shots because you're a lockdown defender. They're just missing shots because this guy is just not making it easy for you.
yeah.
Finish. And Luca has the size. And I think that's the most annoying part of it is like, bro, you're not some 6'1", 6'2" guy. Like, you have the size and the strength for it. But clearly, you're just not ready to put in 100% effort. And obviously, Celtics can see that. So they keep picking on him. And it's like, oh, yeah, let's just blow past this guy. He's not ready.
He's not like he's not
He's not
he's not
ready.
really
So,
trying. And
right.
I know we have to round up, but I just want to say that Kyrie is hella trash. That's I need to finish. I need that to be. By the way, like our editor should definitely put my face and that caption. Like Kyrie is hella trash. I need that to be front page.
Yikes.
Honestly, because Kyrie has spoken so much about how like he felt that at Boston doesn't care about the fans, how he needed like the fans to be louder, and then you go there and you're shooting like
Yeah, man.
12% or like
He had one good game.
against. Did he have a good game in Boston?
No, just the one good game he had was it game
Game
4
three, I think it was
or
game
3? No,
three.
game
Where
3.
he had
Yes,
30
that was the
points,
one good game. That's it.
and then like you're going to speak because that's my issue. Is like if you're going to combat, you know, what the media is saying, and you're going to defend yourself, and you want to be humble, and you want to be like you want to play so many parts, you have to be able to like back those things up. Like
Yeah,
Kyrie to come out and say, oh, he's not like affected by the noise from like Boston fans and like he needs them to be louder. We need you to play better, bro.
yeah,
We need you to
yeah,
play way like you can't shoot such horrible percentages and be like it doesn't affect you. Like you need to
yeah,
explain to us what's going on there. Like
yeah. Because your numbers suggest
your numbers
otherwise. So
suggest otherwise.
all that talk you're doing to the media is just noise at this point. But yeah, he was,
He was
Look
horrible.
as bad as Luka was. Like, if Kyrie showed up, there would have been a series, right? There would have been a series. But yeah, anyways, to round this up, one thing I wanted to mention is the fact that Celtics are actually going to be a problem going forward. I feel like for the next couple of years,
Hmm.
yeah, there will be a problem. Like, they have a team young enough to still be the best team in the league. And I feel like once you get over that championship hump, now coming into next season, coming into the playoffs, there's no fear of we've not done this before. Now they've done this
They know what
before
it
and
takes.
now they know what it takes. So I feel a team that is that talented, getting over that hump of a championship, if they don't have any injuries, everyone is still like in their prime. Like, do you get what I'm saying? They are all still in their 20s. Like, at least the most important players on the team, they are going to be a problem. Like, I just don't see a
I
world where
I wanna
they are
I
not a
wanna
problem.
add I wanna add that the Celtics, all it takes for the Celtics to win another championship is just wanting it as bad as they did now. Like that's I think like we just said, like the talent and everything.
Another injury prone
Or
opposition thingy.
no, but the
Like,
only teams that stand in the way of the Celtics realistically would be Milwaukee,
Yeah, box.
Bucks. Like, do you know what I'm
I
saying?
feel
Like
that's just it. And it's just based off of, next season, let's just assume that Giannis and Dame click a little better and maybe they make some moves to have
And
players
Middleton, like
players around. Oh yeah, Middleton, and have maybe more fitting role players around. Those guys can
because
challenge
they've
them.
won it before as well,
Yeah,
so they know what it
yeah.
takes to win.
So yeah, man. So they're going to be a tough team, man. And at the end of the day, dynasties happen, right? Like, if we don't want to use the word dynasty, we have teams that come up that win multiple championships, right?
Mhm.
Like with Golden State, for instance, like they have 4. obviously there were some major adjustments there, like bringing in KD and things like that. But I feel like talent-wise, the current Celtics team is so talented, and a lot of times you just need that first one. Once you have that first one, that pressure of we've never done this before is out the window, and a lot of times you can just wheel guys in that direction. Like Golden State winning that fourth championship, you you know, talent-wise, all the numbers, the odds, everything said Golden State will get smacked by Celtics that year. But obviously, we could tell what happened there was just Celtics just being a little nervous, and Golden State, they've been there before. So they knew what it took, and then for that reason, they won that series.
Yeah.
But now, having the most talented team in the league, having the experience of winning a championship, that's always going to be a problem, man. That's always going to be a problem. So, anyways, let's see how that works out and how the other teams in the league respond to that. Because if no one makes any adjustments, if we go into the season like this next season, no real changes, no injuries, bruh, Celtics are going all the way again.
Yeah. I see a repeat.
Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Hopefully, because
Miami
we can
next
have those corny ass guys on 3-4 championships, man. We won't hear the last of it.
Nope.
We would not.
But yeah, so I guess thanks for listening up until this point. Let us know what you guys think. With everything we've discussed today, from Euros to the new NBA champions, and yeah, and more. So yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Oh yeah, one more thing. You guys should get ready for Olympics. But
Oh yeah, but I feel the Olympics is mostly Olympics. I mean, basketball and football, sure.
Everything, like tracks and stuff.
But okay. Real
Anyways, we'll talk about
it. I feel like Olympics has lost its hype. Sure.
Absolutely.
Like
it's COVID. COVID
has
was the
lost
reason
it.
why. Don't worry, you'll see. Olympics is back. Trust me.
I hope so, man, because I used to look forward to Olympics more. Yeah, we'll see, sure. But anyways, we'll catch up with you guys on the next episode. And yeah, peace, guys.
Peace.